I looked and I can't stop staring. Baby got back.
I'll see your mashup and I'll raise you an Elvis Presley AI composition.
Insane.
Doing Baby Got Back. If you follow the guy who does There I Ruined It, who does some really, really funny stuff with like Pro Tools and kind of just messing with pitch on songs, and he's done mashups too. But he got Elvis Presley AI to create this. There's backup singers and the whole bit to do Baby Got Back in the style of Don't Be Cruel.
I want him to do WAP.
Oh,
Macaroni
man.
in a pot.
Yeah.
Oh, I like baked plots and I cannot lie. You are the brothers I can't
I would bump this, no lie.
Yeah, it's a
When
banger.
the girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Oh, you get sprung. Deep in the jeans she's wearing, I looked and I can't stop staring. Baby got back. My anaconda don't want none unless you got the buzz high. I'm begging for a piece of that bubble, so go and find that juicy double. And you get sprung. Oh, you get sprung. I don't want no other but now, baby, it's just yours I'm thinking of.
I'm scared.
Pretty good.
This is like,
This is what makes people want to welcome our AI overlords.
yeah, but like,
This is the fun part. It will quickly become the not fun
I
part.
was gonna say,
But we'll always have these memories.
soon as a debut
Really?
artist comes out,
Yes, we will. Facebook will give them to us. What?
soon as an artist like
This
makes
will
their
make them mandatory.
soon as an artist makes their debut, like if they have a great voice or whatever, the moment they make that album, now they have your voice on record, and then they're like, we don't need you anymore. There's not gonna be another album. Like, we have your voice, and we can make the following albums, your likeness in perpetuity forever.
Well, that's what they talk about with, Black Mirror, that first episode of this season, where artists were signing away their digital selves. And to a different degree, there were a lot of artists that did that with Live Nation, with the concert company. They would sign these massive, they called them 360 deals. And it was a huge payout for artists of a certain caliber, where they would say, you guys are going to sell my tickets, you guys are going to run my merch, you guys are going to do this, rather than, a lot of these artists don't want to talk about it, but they very, very quietly get a nice big slice of the tickets that get sold
The resale?
on the resale market, where they jack the prices up 700%, and the artist goes, I got nothing to do with that. Yeah, you do. You peel back the curtain a little bit, and that's part of these deals. So some of these artists will sign these massive, 9-figure deals with the companies to do this. And that's kind of, to me, that's a precursor to just the technology being where it can be. So who knows? WAP was what? Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and
Megan Thee Stallion.
it was all three of them, right?
No, Cardi B and just Megan Thee
Oh,
Stallion.
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
It was during COVID, so I just remember that video. Because,
Yeah, I remember you could. I did the same thing everybody else did, where you could put your face in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
someone
I
just
looked
put
hot.
mine in there. I'm like, don't be putting my face in
I
that
looked so
stuff.
hot.
Well, yeah, we all did.
That's Nikki, of course. But speaking of the alarm, is a story that really took off about this janitor that I don't know what happens to him. I assume he gets fired. A janitor at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. This is in upstate New York. It's a research facility, and this guy is a janitor, custodian for the university.
He solved a math problem that was only half done on a chalkboard.
They could have really used a Matt Damon Goodwill Hunting type in this situation. This guy seems to be at the exact opposite end
Oh, dang.
of the spectrum, even though his intent was good. He didn't, by all accounts, wasn't malicious, but still really, really bad move. He said he kept hearing annoying alarms, and so he figured that he would just shut the alarms off. So he turned off a freezer at the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. He's not being sued, but there is a lawsuit with a contractor I guess, who did some private research. $1 million in damage, and they've lost 20 years of research because of what was in the freezer that is now spoiled and unusable. He unplugged the freezer. It had cell cultures. It had samples, causing catastrophic damage. Even a small fluctuation of temperature in these kinds of situations can cause big problems. And this guy just said, I was just trying to get the alarms to turn off. And so I unplugged the freezer. And they said that whatever research they were doing here, I guess, they're being set back decades now. Yeah. There was a sign on it. There was a warning that I guess the guy didn't pay attention to or didn't see. This freezer is beeping as it is under repair. Please do not move or unplug it. No cleaning is required in this area. You can press the mute button for 10 seconds if you would like to mute the sound. So they took every precaution to make sure that nobody was going to F with their stuff. But this guy, he said that he heard all these annoying alarms and he was trying to be helpful. So he flipped the circuit breakers, mistakenly turning them from on to off. And the freezer's temperature got above negative 32 degrees Celsius and ruined everything that was in it. Compromised, destroyed, and demolished more than 20 years of research. So imagine you're somebody who's working on this team, and this guy who is very clearly not the Matt Damon janitor solving problems on the... Was his name Will Hunting in that?
Yeah.
That's why it was called Good Will Hunting? It was a double entendre?
Was that his last name? His first name was definitely Will.
Yeah, it was Will.
Was it Will Hunting, though?
I think so.
Yeah, or was it...
I think it was
His
that.
name was Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Hunting.
Now, if this were a situation where they were like semen samples, that's an easy fix. You have an accident like that, all the cultures, the samples are destroyed, and you go, okay, this is my time to shine.
I got to get to work.
Now, Poundcake couldn't do it because he likes to keep it a few days apart.
It's got to wait a day.
Yeah, or nothing comes out.
Is that true? You said earlier we were talking, you go, well, it depends on if I did it yesterday. How many days do you need in between?
No, I just won't be as horny next time. I can
it's a libido thing,
Okay.
not an emission thing.
Yeah,
But what if you're in a situation where you got to replace 200 samples
Well, then I'm gonna be in
For
trouble.
science.
for science?
Yeah.
Or else you lose your job.
That's right. You got
There are times where I guess you could call it saving up, where because I just wanted to see, I was running experiments on myself. I just wanted to see how much I could produce like within like a week.
I don't think that matters, though, does it? I mean, it feels.
should.
But it's
I
not.
mean, there's-
because it works the opposite way. If you do it every day, say if you tossed off, every other hour.
Being hydrated has a lot to do with it too.
Okay, but I'm saying if you tossed off every other hour,
Yeah,
you're
every other hour.
Yeah.
You went from every other day to every other hour.
Well, he's saying that if you do it a bunch, you're going to have
it's gonna
smaller loads.
it's gonna
Understood,
fluctuate.
right.
So I figure if you don't and it's backed up and you haven't drained it or anything, then yeah, you would have a bigger.
Oh, that's a big load.
Well, maybe, yeah, right, but not indefinitely. I mean, it doesn't come out like anti-aircraft fire.
No.
If that's what,
Right.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Because your body
Peter
just
North it.
your body just absorbs it.
But again, I would run experiments on myself. I would wait like a day and I would do it, and then I would do like 2 days, and then I would do 3 days, and then I would do like a whole week.
And then
Were
what
you
was,
keeping a spreadsheet? I mean,
Well,
what was your data collection?
It was just
what was the amount of time you need to have your best results?
your refractory period?
Yeah.
Well, the month was definitely was belly button and then some. Everything else.
Belly button. Get a Kleenex like a civilized human. Jesus Christ, belly button.
Whatever you guys
This
want.
guy. And then I would write down how long it took
But
to
if-
crust over, and I'd
But if
leave it
that's-
there.
If that's what he's trying to do.
Gross.
You are curious about your body and you want to figure out things, and I wanted to know. I want to know.
How you had to have been a kid. This was when you first started.
2 weeks ago.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, sometime teenager. It had to be, I'm sure.
Mom, where's my yellow legal pad? I've got to
But-
write down my data from today.
But also that it's going to be skewed because when you're young, like you have a lot more to, that's where the saying comes from. Young, and
Dumb and full of what?
Full of male emission. It rhymes, see?
I told you not to disturb me when I'm doing my experiments.
Mom, I'm a scientist.
I think that was around the same time I put it in the freezer one time.
Is that why they call you the Nutty Professor?
I had my own little mini fridge. So I had like little.
Oh, God, imagine you're his mom. She's had a long week
Don't
at
go
work.
in my mini
She
fridge.
goes in to get some ice cream. Like, what the hell is this?
Don't you step your ass in my mini fridge. Leave my
In
mini
your
fridge alone.
room?
Yeah, I had a mini fridge in my room that had a little freezer. Yeah.
Wow.
So I had,
And so what would you ejaculate? What would be the container? Did you buy test tubes or
He
beakers?
just put it directly onto the freezer from his hand. He just wiped it.
He would point it into the freezer
Yeah.
part, and hopefully it would make it across.
I don't know if I want to say this, but there was a lot of extra like medicine cups that we had, like from when we would take.
Oh, God.
like a NyQuil cup?
Oh, God.
like the little measuring
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
measuring ones. I
that
would.
comes on top of it,
I was-
like with cough medicine.
The nighttime sniffling, squeezing.
It wasn't for those. I mean, it was for medicine, but like my mom had a bunch of them because like just like we had hospital tape, we had an abundance of those little pill containers or medicine containers. So I would steal them.
You were left alone too frequently as a young person, is I think what we can all come to that conclusion.
Everyone ran experiments on themselves. That's how people
Not
found
like
out.
that.
Everyone. That's how they found out if they could, estrone D, or if they could, all these things that you figure out about yourself. That was my discovery period.
Got so close.
See, Bill knows. I know I'm not the only one.
Man,
Everyone tries.
boys are weird.
Yeah, I never tried that.
You never tried that?
I never tried that.
There was a
You
time
never threw the legs behind the head?
I said I will wait until someone else can do it for me.
That was a
I bet
sin.
it'll feel a lot better than that.
I had to put my feet on the headboard and then try and like propel myself forward.
See, with a girl, mine was just like different objects, rubbing myself on
Yeah.
things.
Right.
The
Banisters.
The couch, a pillow,
sure.
what deodorant bottle, whatever. Like
Yeah.
just different surfaces.
So you were
I
just
guess.
rubbing things. You weren't inserting things.
No, I never
okay.
inserted anything.
Breaking out the mirror.
Because you were afraid it would break off in there. And
No,
then you
because my mom had me convinced that any insertion meant I wasn't a virgin anymore. So I just rub on stuff. Whatever.
Who'd you lose your virginity to?
Tampax.
It's him.
I got grounded for it.
And never be afraid to rub your meat. I love rubbing and touching my meat and getting those seasonings in all the cracks and crevices.
We know, Paula.
Well, there you go. So, did you ever make a pound cake? Did you ever find out just how flexible you really were?
Yeah, I could do it for a little bit, but then I don't know if I grew or I just wasn't as flexible. But yeah, there was a time where I could do it and it just hurt so bad. Like it was just a strain on my
It wasn't.
neck.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think it's
Juice
probably
ain't worth the squeeze, you know.
it's probably for the best because I would be a recluse. Like if I didn't need a man, I wouldn't have a man. You know what I mean?
It's like that scene in Scary Movie where the guy in the wheelchair is like, the hot chick is hitting on him. He's like, I don't need your help. I can do it myself.
You are never going to be better at this than I am. Hey, Madonna has been.
I have no idea.
I thought that was.
What kind? That's all they said? Just
They
a
gotta-
bacterial infection?
She's in the ICU.
Dang.
Yeah.
They got to look into her MDNA.
What?
That was one of her albums, MDNA.
Ah, yeah. The Celebration Tour with special guest Bob the Drag Queen. That is the greatest name I've ever heard in my life.
He's a big deal. He's like a comic, too, with stand-up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I know Big Freedia. I don't know Bob the Drag Queen. August 2nd, Madonna comes to the Romo Fijo. I imagine by that time she'll probably be fine.
You hope
Unless
so.
unless something terrible happens to her.
You never know.
She's no spring chicken. But hopefully, they said she's under extensive medical care. But they're pausing all of her commitments. The tour hasn't even started yet. It's supposed to start July 15th in Vancouver, but now the tour is going to be postponed. That's got to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're Madonna. You are hanging on by your fingernails to staying relevant, to touring, to just, I guarantee she doesn't want to go out and do this again. But she's like, I'm not letting these 20-year-old TikTok bitches get out there and show me up. I'm Madonna, and I'm going to go out and prove to everybody I can still, but she's had like hip replacements. And so, because she's not 22 anymore, but she's still Madonna. And that's what she's got. But at some point, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. But she's out there and going to do it.
But I think she wants to do it.
I think she wants the attention of doing it. I think she wants to go out and prove to people that she can still do it. And that can really fire you up. That might be all the motivation you need. But I guarantee she doesn't want to go on tour and dance. And she's 64. She want to go out and do this?
Jagger's like 100.
Right, but he's not doing choreography.
He's running around like a maniac.
Yeah, he's walking back and forth, and he's pointing at people, he's walking back and forth. She's doing moves like you got to learn it and do it and practice it. He's not doing that. He's walking back and forth across the stage. And if he wants to stop, he can stop. Stand in the middle and just point at people or walk around. She's got moves she's got to learn and know. Ugh, exhausting. So, like, you kind of got to give it up for her. But, if you have to, imagine you have to cancel your tour because you got a bacterial infection. You got, sepsis in your hip replacement. I don't know what.
Swimming in poopy water.
I diarrheaed in the tub. You don't want that.
Alan, Rich in Jacksonville, Florida. I just heard you say you don't like videos where people get hurt. I was wondering if you still had the video of the woman squishing grapes who falls out. Hate the show. Bye.
I don't have the video. No, I don't like, we were talking about, I don't like videos or shows where people get really hurt. Like a skateboarder breaks a leg
Like that
or they
TV show
land on their
Scarring.
head. I don't like that at all. The lady who's stomping grapes, that was a Cleveland clip? Is that what made it famous?
No, it wasn't.
No,
I don't think
just
it
a
was Cleveland.
newscaster.
Yeah, just a,
Oh, okay.
I can't breathe. Stop.
And the two I hope she's okay, right? She's stomping grapes and she falls off the little platform and it knocks the wind out of her.
I love it. That's the kind of stuff I live for.
That stuff's okay, but like when somebody gets hurt, I don't
No,
care for
I don't like that either. But
No, I
those
don't
aren't the
care for
videos I watch. Because I was
Right.
saying on Monday how I stayed in bed until noon watching videos of people
Right.
getting hurt. But it's little stuff like a cat pouncing and knocking over a baby, or like a dad getting hit in the nuts, or a little kid falling off a slide. Like things like slipping and falling on ice. Like those things kill me.
That's why when my daughter a couple of years ago had her, maybe a year ago, had her like America's Funniest Videos phase, where that was all she wanted to watch. And you forget that like back in the day, those videos that people would send in, guaranteed there were a lot of people getting very hurt, but they would cut away
Yeah.
or you'd hear them laughing, but it was very clear from watching it. It was just people with their camcorders in the late 80s, early 90s trying to win $10,000. There were a lot of people getting hurt. Like dudes falling on a fence or like a spring from a broken trampoline goes up their ass or something. And you're like, oh, man. As soon as they cut away, I'm sure the ambulance was called.
The trampoline ones, the compilations on America's Funniest Home Videos were always my favorite. When they would do a segment of just trampoline
Well, like
fails,
if they
my
go
God.
through the canvas or if they
Yeah.
bounce off, like
A
that's kind of
double
funny.
bounce, yeah.
Right. But the people that would like clearly get a part of the structure impaled on their, that's no good.